Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney here on Tuesday, June 7th. Thanks for being here for your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Here on 3 News Now, we bring you the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio, because these are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and from our app. And I warn you, before we get started today, there are disturbing stories to be told today. And the first comes from our investigative team. Our investigative team has been working on a series of stories about uncovered sexual misconduct at Cedar Point, and now another person has come forward, and that person who has chosen to identify herself, her name is Erin McKay, and she is 21 years old. She grew up in Vermilion, and she was told that a rape that she alleges happened in the dorms at Cedar Point during a summer working there she was told that it was her fault for being in the dorms so late. What we have learned from her is at the age of 14, McKay applied for a job at Cedar Point and said it was sounding like a dream, and she was very happy when she got that job. But then over 4 separate occasions over the next several summers, she said coworkers groped or sexually harassed her, eventually raping her, as her words said, at the age of 17. She said that the way she described the incident happening in the employee dorms was that a coworker took off her clothes, kissed her, and she told him to stop, and that he just did what he pleased. Obviously, these are very upsetting statements to hear from someone about a summer at Cedar Point. Our investigative team has tried to talk to Cedar Point. However, Cedar Point has refused to discuss the allegations. In total, 28 Cedar Point workers have filed police reports since 2017 saying they were sexually assaulted inside the dorms. McKay did not file a police report. She says she was actually discouraged from doing so. You can see Cedar Point's full statement on the matter, because they did not want to talk with our investigative team, but they did release a statement, and that is on WKYC.com. McKay said that Cedar Point executive Joanne Mueller, who was the head of human resources at that point, is the person who told her that it was her fault for being too late at the dorms. She is no longer with the company. She left the company in May after 4 years. For the full account, you can find that on WKYC.com. And now, another disturbing story. There was a 10-year-old boy who was shot and killed in Cleveland, and the boy's family is saying that it was a freak accident and that he was accidentally shot by his aunt. The boy's name is Caden Williams, and his uncle talked with 3 News. His uncle is James Powells, and this happened on East 77th Street. He said that the family was downstairs looking at a weapon that had been purchased by a cousin legally, and that cousin was showing the family an extended clip that had been purchased also legally. And the aunt had it in her hand, and the gun accidentally went off, according to the uncle, shot directly through the middle of the living room into a room where Caden was with a cousin, and it hit him in the head. Caden's mother was downstairs at the time, and when the 15-year-old cousin who was upstairs with Caden ran downstairs and said that Caden has been hit, the mother went upstairs and ran and called the police. Unfortunately, nothing could be done, and Caden was rushed to the hospital, but the Cuyahoga County medical examiner confirmed that he died at the hospital from those injuries. The aunt has been arrested on unspecified charges, according to Cleveland police, and the matter is being investigated. The uncle describes Caden as one of the smartest kids he's met, and that he was a 5th grader who loved TikTok and had intelligent conversations with adults. Obviously thinking of that family today. And in a related matter, Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb is calling on Congress to pass stricter gun laws. He said in a press conference today addressing gun violence that the city is looking at measures to increase gun safety, but he's calling on Congress, he says, to pass common sense gun laws following the series of mass shootings we've had here in this country. Here's what Justin Bibb said today. He says it's madness right now that a majority of Americans support background checks, red flag laws, raising the age in this country to buy a gun to 21. And he's encouraging everybody in the city to call their member of Congress and pleading with Congress to take real action, particularly in the U.S. Senate, to pass some form of gun legislation. He said, as mayor, I don't have the luxury of passing the buck to the next legislative session. Congress needs to act and every person in this city and this state should plead with their member of Congress to take action now. Interim Police Chief Dornett Drummond, who goes by Wayne, was also there, and he said that Cleveland has seen 495 people shot, with 61 homicides to this point in the year. And also during the press conference, he talked about Caden, who we just talked about, the 10-year-old boy who was accidentally shot by his aunt, and he got emotional while speaking about that loss. Now here's a story out of Southern Ohio. An Akron woman is accused of helping break 5 men, including her fiancé, out of an Ohio prison, and one of those people is still at large now. So authorities in Scioto County are looking for an inmate who escaped the Star Community Justice Center on Saturday night. The person who is escaped that is still at large is Thomas Comberger, and then 4 other inmates and 2 accomplices are in custody. Now the way this all works out is kind of a wild story. So what happened is someone called in to the sheriff's office to say that they saw people climbing a fence on Saturday right after 8 p.m. and near that fence is someone who police believe was 32-year-old Allie Angelo of Akron. Now deputies say that she came to the Justice Center with her ex-husband, 31-year-old Matthew Sladen of Akron, to assist her fiance, 37-year-old Jeffrey Fields of Cuyahoga Falls, in his escape. Now, Angela was arrested for aiding escape, which is a 4th-degree felony. Her ex-husband, Sladen, was also taken into custody by police at a Walmart in Waverly. He's been charged with aiding escape and possession of criminal tools. Aiding escape is a 4th-degree felony, and the possession of criminal tools is a 3rd-degree felony. Fields, the fiancé, was captured on Junior Furnace Road by Scioto County Sheriff's deputies. Another escapee, Clifford Morris, was caught by Ohio State Highway Patrol troopers. One of the suspects, Aaron Bridgman, was captured at a railroad property by deputies, and then he provided information about the possible whereabouts of another escapee, Walker Pence, who was also taken into custody. So that leaves us with the final person still at large, Thomas Comberger. He's 46 years old. He's from Wilmington, and he's described as 6'4" with 245 pounds, brown hair, and blue eyes. So people are asked to call 911 if that person is spotted. Now, we do know from officials that everyone who has escaped were low-level, nonviolent drug offenders. The Star Community Justice Center is also a community-based correction facility to promote and reduce prison terms through treatment and education. So we are not talking about a maximum level security situation here. As I said, low-level, nonviolent drug offenders here apparently couldn't wait to get out from what we hear. But it's just the people who are working together on this, that's the backstory I would like to know. The woman, the ex-husband, the fiancé, everybody else involved, you know that there's a story behind that. Now here in Cleveland, Cleveland City Council did pass a resolution for FirstEnergy to drop its naming rights to the football stadium. This was 2 weeks after it was first introduced. It was introduced by council member Brian Casey, and it passed by a 16-1 vote during Monday's council meeting. Now, this resolution doesn't require FirstEnergy to give up those naming rights, and it doesn't require the Browns to take it off of the stadium, but it does serve as an official statement from the city about what it feels is poor representation for our city. Remember, FirstEnergy did have a role in the House Bill 6 scandal, and it basically admitted to a $60 million bribery scheme involving then Speaker of the House Larry Householder, who was removed from his seat in the Ohio House of Representatives, and those facing charges as well with some associates. Now, Householder has also maintained he has done nothing wrong. So FirstEnergy has released a statement, and here's what they say in part. You can see the full statement on WKYC.com. FirstEnergy says it's disappointing that the resolution overlooks the important community benefits afforded by our partnership with the Cleveland Browns, which represents so much more than just a name on the stadium. Here's important information if you drive an RV and if you have Goodyear tires. There is a recall of Goodyear RV tires 19 years after the last one was made. It's more than 173,000 RV tires. The government says that these can fail, and they have killed or injured 95 people since 1998. It's the G159 tire, and they've been under investigation for the past 5 years. And on Tuesday, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration posted on their website saying that they had pressured Goodyear into a recall. Now, lawsuits and safety advocates have been saying that the tires were designed for delivery trucks and not for RVs that travel at highway speeds. And they also say that Goodyear kept the problem secret for years by settling cases and getting judges to seal records. The tires were made from 1996 to 2003, and the administration finally got the number of deaths and injuries after court documents were unsealed by an Arizona judge. So 3 News left a message seeking comment from Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Previously, the company had said that there was no safety defect with the tires, and they had rejected a recall earlier this year before agreeing to it after the fact. Now, Goodyear will replace the tires with a newer model at no cost to RV owners. And if you have those tires and you're using them on another vehicle, Goodyear will exchange them for $500. Goodyear said that the RV makers who used the tires aren't in business anymore, so it doesn't have access to registration data for the RVs with the faulty tires. So this means if you drive an RV or someone in your life drives an RV and you think it might have one of these Goodyear G159 tires on it, we need to share that information with those people so that they can get this information, because Goodyear does not have the ability to reach out to those people. Now, some good news. The LeBron James Family Foundation is building a new medical care center in Akron, and this sounds like it's going to be very nice for the people in that community. They announced the plans. It'll be called the I Promise Health Quarters. So they say it will offer medical, dental, and optometry, an on-site lab, and mental health services, and there will be a reduced cost pharmacy provided by Access Point, Coleman Health Services, and the PEGS Foundation. Sounds pretty nice. Michelle Campbell, who is the executive director of the LeBron James Family Foundation, said, they continue to listen to their community, and access to affordable health care has always been a critical need for those families, further heightened by the pandemic, so they started rallying the community to bring experts together under one trusted root. So this new I Promise Health Quarters, it'll be in walking distance of the I Promise school that already serves students and families. And here's some good news to end on for people on the east side. There's a food truck park coming to downtown Willoughby, and if you have been on the west side in Cleveland to the Lakewood Truck Park, it's very nice, and this sounds very similar. It's going to be called The Yard on 3rd. And it will be open this summer. It'll have a permanent tenant. Geraci's, which is an award-winning pizzeria, will be there, and there'll be picnic-style seating and an outdoor bar. It'll be open for lunch, dinner, and late-night meals for people who want to grab something later in the evening. It's also planned to be family and dog-friendly. We have the address. It's 18042 3rd Street. If you're familiar with the downtown Willoughby area, it's where Lure Bistro used to be. So if you want to check out more information, we've got the website on WKYC.com. And as I said, no known launch date just yet, but it is expected to be open this summer. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Tuesday, June 7th. Everyone have a wonderful day. Stay dry out there, and I will see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.